Hi, I am Anurag Agarwal, Managing Director of Oman Technology Fund. Oman Technology Fund is a VC fund based out of Muscat, Oman. It was started back in 2016 by the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Oman. Started as a fund of fund, wherein we invested in few global fund managers like Kleiner Perkins, their Digital Growth Fund and Grow Fund 4. We also invested with 500 Startups Global Fund, and we also invested with 500 Startups Regional Fund, which is MENA Falcon Fund, and we also invested in with the Iris VC Atlantic Bridge. Now, when it came to selecting the local fund manager, that's when the thinking at the top changed, and they decided, why don't we create a team ourselves and start investing indirectly into the companies instead of investing into the funds. That's when three sub micro funds were created under OTF, which is pre-seed fund called OTF Techween, and seed fund called OTF Wadi, and the growth fund called OTF Jasur. I am part of OTF Jasur. I head the growth fund and the managing director. We have now invested in about 145 startups, 50 to 55% in Oman, and the rest of them outside Oman in countries like Egypt, Jordan, UAE, Saudi, Tunisia, Morocco, and few more here and there. Oman ecosystem is a very nascent one, you can call it, compared to UAE, Egypt, or Saudi, or even Jordan. It started actually it got the boost or the thrust with the launch of Oman Technology Fund, because when OTF was launched, not many people knew what startup is or what a venture capital is based in Oman. But as on today, if you ask me, out of our 145, about 80 companies are based in Oman. There are few good ones from Oman like eMushrif, which has raised from global investors and which have also expanded now to Saudi, to UAE, to Egypt, and to Kuwait. So which has done very well. And there are a few other companies like Otaxi, which is a similar business model to Uber, and there is no Uber in Oman, so they do the good job of providing ride-hailing services. Talking about opportunities in Oman ecosystem, I think, as I said, it's a nascent ecosystem, so there is a lot of opportunities. The population is 3.5 million, something around that in Oman, which is a bit more than countries like Kuwait or Bahrain, a little bit, somewhat similar to UAE. What is lacking is in Oman is a vibrant consumer economy, so there is a lot of opportunity there in e-commerces as well. Like Amazon didn't deliver to Oman as recently as this year. They've started delivering to Oman, but it gets routed through UAE, so that very few limited SKUs are delivered directly to Oman. People still order on Amazon, ship it to UAE, and then use another courier to ship it back to Oman. So there is this opportunity there. Plus also, if you can talk about like food delivery services, there is one big company which is Talabat, backed by Rocket Internet, which is across Middle East. That is there in Oman. Also business side, business enterprise side, I think there is a big opportunity in terms of, because the government is pushing hard for digitalization, and also the big corporates in telecom to move to digitalization and use software solutions. So we're starting to see a lot of companies coming up in that space in Oman itself. In terms of like support from the government, when OTF was launched, I think a year prior to that, they had launched an offshore park in Oman, which is called Knowledge Oasis Muscat. For other companies to come and set up there is like foreign ownership is allowed, 100% foreign ownership is allowed. The process to incorporate company is much easier. The requirements are much easier. The fees are also lesser. So those initiatives are there. On terms of legal side, I think the government recently have been engaging with different stakeholders, including us, and asking us like, what can we do to improve the legal framework or the requirements for companies to come and set up offices or headquarters in Oman, or our local startups in Oman, and how we can help them. So we are working with them continuously. And there are a few other initiatives which is like the government Sovereign Wealth Fund of Oman, through their subsidiaries, pushing the company to invest into other local venture capitals. So they have recently invested in a few other private VCs in Oman, and through those VCs then mandating those companies to invest into local startups, and also to invest in outside startups and push them to come to Oman, or at least establish an office or a branch or a office in Oman. Very good ones that you will hear is eMushrif, expanded to Egypt, UAE, Kuwait, and also Saudi. And they have an office actually in China as well, because it's an IoT company. They procure some of the hardware from China, and they have an office in China as well. And the second one you would hear is the food delivery app company called Akid, which delivers food and groceries. The third one you will hear is Karzati, Carzaty. That is a marketplace for buying used cars. They have done recently very well. They were actually recently acquired by a Mexican company, Mexican startup into the similar space. And then there is O-Taxi. O-Taxi is similar to Uber, but they provide they have the license to operate in Oman, so they are providing ride-hailing services. These are the ones which come to my mind, and then there are a few more of them I can send you list. You should do what you are very passionate about, not just because you think there is an opportunity here, I can build a business. Because in a startup you will come through challenges. There will be sometimes problems where you will face with the hiring team members. There will be times where you will not be able to fundraise. You will have to struggle in bootstrap. So it is not an easy journey. So to ride through it, you should be doing what you really love doing it. Plus, I think another important factor to keep in mind initially is the team that you hire. Your co-founders matter a lot. Your early hires, the C-level management, the initial employees matter a lot. It is like one small family that you build initially, which will help you through the first 5, 6, 7 years of your startup life. So that is very important. Plus, also being genuine. Like I think what we started seeing a little bit, and this is, I don't think it is only a Middle East phenomena, but also global, where the startup founders are only chasing valuation. Like too valuation-driven KPI for startups. I think there is no harm in growing slowly but steadily, keeping in mind a little bit about unit economics, how to be profitable. It may not be now, but you have a plan or not. You're not just banking on VC money to invest into marketing and then we'll see how to figure out how do you monetize. There should be a plan from day one and you should be working and executing on that. So if you keep these fundamentals in mind, I think you'll be good. There will be downturns, but there will be good times also. We will, after 1 or 2 years, you will see again there's a lot of VC activity happening, there's a lot of money and there are a lot of people to invest in, and then that's when you need to cash in on. So what is important is to keep this going and not be too focused on just the valuations. And I think just go out, seek help, advice, mentorship from venture capital, VCs, your friends and families. That is very important.